So most video game Easter eggs are usually a show of respect to something that the developers love. This respect can be shown in a variety of different ways, but none are more shocking than finding the body of a video game character that you love. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at 10 video game Easter eggs that killed your favourite characters. As always, leave your suggestions in the comments down below, and without further delay, let's get started. Right, let's begin today's video with the very underrated Mad Max game. Now, the Mad Max game was developed by Avalanche Studios, who are probably best known for their work on the Just Cause series. Well, when exploring the barren wasteland that makes up the Mad Max world, you can find this.
Join together with the sacrament of the biscuit.
So, it appears that this skeleton was trying to grapple onto the back of a car whilst wearing a parachute. Sound familiar? Well, it should do, as parachute-assisted grappling hook stunts are the speciality of Just Cause main character, Rico Rodriguez. Next up is one of my favourite games of recent years. Ghostrunner is an action platformer that requires fast reflexes and a whole lot of patience. The game takes place after a global disaster that has forced mankind to be housed in a single building, so if you don't like your neighbours, well, tough luck. Now, in a world that is so unforgiving, only the strongest survive, and it turns out that this little guy wasn't one of the strongest. So, despite spending their time competing in death-defying games of skill, one of the bean-shaped stars of Fall Guys can be found looking a little worse for wear. Now, Dying Light 2 is a game that is full of Easter eggs, but it's one of the few games that I can think of that had to change an Easter egg because it was a little too on the nose. During the broadcast mission, you have to search a zombie-filled building for missing Peacekeeper troops. As you might expect, the majority of the team are already zombie food, though you can find a man called Leon who asks you to find his friend Chris, who has punched through. When you finally catch up with Chris, he's already a zombie, so you have no choice but to put him down. When you search his body, you can find his dog tag, which reveals his full name to be Chris Redfield. That's not all. Since our last encounter with Leon, he too has become a zombie. And after defeating him, we can recover his dog tag, which tells us that Leon's full name was Leon Kennedy. Now, fans of survival horror games, or even games in general, will know that Chris Redfield and Leon Kennedy are the stars of the Resident Evil series. So it's ironic that they become zombies considering they spent so much time fighting them in their own games. Now, it seems that someone at Capcom wasn't happy with two of their biggest characters being treated this way, as soon after Dying Light 2 released, the dog tags of both Leon and Chris were changed to read Leon Kennedy and Chris Bluefield. Oh, and you know how I mentioned earlier that Leon said that Chris had punched through? Well, Chris Redfield is the man that did this. Next up is the often forgotten Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris. Now, at the peak of her powers, Lara Croft was the star of some of video games' most popular titles. But as time moved on, the Tomb Raider series didn't. Eventually, a newcomer challenged Lara for the crown of relic-loving action star. And when Nathan Drake was first revealed to players, many people referred to him as Dude Raider. Such was his similarity to Miss Croft. Well, it seems that the Tomb Raider developers weren't too happy with their position being challenged, as at the Pyramids of Osiris, you can find this. So this unfortunate explorer bears a striking resemblance to Nathan Drake, particularly his appearance in Uncharted 3. The next Easter egg once again features Lara Croft, but let's just say she's seen better days. Echoes of the Living is a survival horror game heavily influenced by the early Resident Evil games. Thanks to its fixed camera perspective, you never know what's around the next corner. But I bet you didn't expect to see this. Yes, this is Lara Croft in her full explorer's outfit, trying to see what your brains taste like, which to some of you may sound like fun. Now, having already found the body of Nathan Drake in one game, you might be surprised to learn that he can be found in another game. That game being 2019's Call of Duty Modern Warfare. During the Clean House mission, which is an awesome mission by the way, you have to clear out a room of plotting enemies. Well, there is a very rare chance that one of those enemies will be dressed like this.
Ultra-nationalist group. They'll handle operations in attack.
Trust the wolf.
You know I do. But this operation failed, so why
It
are you
did
doing
not
this?
fail.
Secure.
Alpha 3. Entering through the front door.
So this enemy's outfit is very similar to the outfit that Nathan Drake wore in Uncharted 1. I mean, he's even wearing a ring around his neck, just like Drake. What makes this interesting is that this enemy isn't always guaranteed to spawn. I must have restarted this mission at least 20 times until he did, as reloading checkpoints didn't change the people in the room. Ultimately, it's not a clear-cut reference to Nathan Drake, but I think it's too close to the look of Drake to be a coincidence. Now, despite taking forever to release, pun intended, I personally liked Duke Nukem Forever. Sure, it's not a great game, but sometimes all you want is a mindless first-person shooter that lets you throw poo at a wall. Now, there are quite a few video game references in Duke Nukem Forever, and as you might expect, most of them see Duke mocking said games for one reason or another.
Duke, we've got your green power armor over here and ready to go.
Power armor is for pussies.
Well, okay,
Well, when exploring the Hive, you can find this.
That's one dead space marine.
So this unfortunate chap is a reference to Isaac Clarke from the Dead Space series, with the helmet especially looking just like Isaac's. Now, this next Easter egg is different from the rest, as you are directly responsible for the character's death. During the Dexter Industries level in Hitman Absolution, if you shoot the precariously hanging nuclear bomb, this will happen.
But that's insane. I'm going for a smoke, doll.
No one's gonna die.
So who knew that shooting a nuclear bomb would cause such damage? Anyway, the video game character on the receiving end of the blast was Lynch from the Kane and Lynch series. Right, the final Easter egg for today's video is perhaps the most well-known dead video game character Easter egg in all of video games. At the beginning of The Witcher 2, after defeating a group of enemies, you can find this.
Guess they'll never learn.
I mean, this one is beyond obvious, but this is a reference to the leap of faith performing assassins from Assassin's Creed. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then leaving a like is really appreciated. If you are a fan of Easter eggs and secrets in games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. Thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.